happy to have Grace. Only fifth grade, right?
Yes.
Okay, Grace to present us C.S. Lewis. Okay, that's welcome, Grace.
Okay, so can I start now?
Yes.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Grace. I am currently 10 years old and I live in Boston, Massachusetts. Today I'll be presenting about the life and doings of C.S. Lewis. Sorry. I am having some internet issues. Okay, I'm very sorry. So let's start from his childhood first. So his full name was Clive Staples Lewis, and he was born in Belfast, Ireland on November 29th, 1898. His family belonged to the Church of Ireland and was Christian. His father was Albert James Lewis, a lawyer. His mother was Florence Augusta Lewis, and his brother was Warren Hamilton Lewis. They had a nurse named Lizzie. Their house was named Little Lee, and from a young age, Lewis was fascinated by talking animals. He created an imaginary world ran by talking animals with his brother Warren, and the main character was named Boxen. So Little Lee did serve as an inspiration for many of Lewis's works, including the Chronicles of Narnia, with special references to the magician's nephew. In 1908, his mother died of a critical illness. The following year, his grandfather and uncle also passed away. He became an atheist at around age 15. This event has shrouded Lewis in an atmosphere of darkness and sadness. His journey through life. So Lewis got a scholarship from Oxford and later participated in World War I. He suffered from his two colleagues' deaths, who were killed on the battlefield. Lewis later wrote in a letter that his experience of the horror of war, the loss of his mother and family, and his unhappiness in school were the basis of his pessimism and atheism. After World War I, Lewis received several honors in the Oxford University. There, he became a philosophy tutor at Oxford for around 29 years, especially at Cambridge and Magdalen. His return to Christianity. So Lewis returned to Christianity much later as a result of guidance, debates, and discussions with his friend J.R.R. Tolkien and of God. For those of you who don't know, J.R.R. Tolkien is the well-known author of Lord of the Rings and a great friend of C.S. Lewis. So Lewis converted to theism in 1929 and to Christianity in 1931. He also wrote many books on Christianity, especially focusing on Christian apologetics. Some of his well-known books are Mere Christianity, The Problem of Pain, The Screwtape Letters, Narnia, The Space Trilogy, Miracles, and many more. He also had great influence of readers of all ages on all of his books. So it varied from children to adults, non-believers or atheists to even already Christians or other pagan believers. So one of these examples is our well-known Charles Coulson. So before Charles Coulson became a Christian, he had committed the Watergate scandal, and he was the former known as the hatchet man of former President Richard Nixon. And one night he was visiting Tom Phillips, a Christian, and Tom Phillips read to him from Mere Christianity, especially about a chapter focusing on the sin of the pride of man. So Lewis had written, a proud man is always walking through life, looking down on other people and other things. Therefore, he cannot see something immeasurably superior, God. This greatly affected Coulson and played a major part in Lewis and Coulson's later conversion to Christianity. Lewis also kept writing and responding letters to children of all ages, even till the day before his death. He housed many evacuated children and families from London in his house, protecting them from German air raids during World War II. His marriage. Lewis met Joy Davidman Gresham in 1952. She had brought two sons with her, David and Douglas. She was an American writer of Jewish background and a former communist. Joy had also converted from atheism to Christianity, and they had agreed to a civil marriage in order for Joy to stay in the UK. This was because Joy was divorced from her alcoholic husband, William L. Gresham. Gresham was soon, though, diagnosed with hip cancer, and their relationship developed to a point where they seeked a Christian marriage. Lewis's brother Warren wrote, "For Jack, the attraction was at first undoubtedly intellectual. Joy was the only woman he knew that had a brain which matched his own suppleness, and width of interest, analytical grasp, and above all, in humor and a sense of fun." Their good friend, Reverend Peter Bide, performed the ceremony at Gresham's bed in the Churchill Hospital on March 21st, 1957. Joy died of cancer on July 13th, 1960. So here are some quotes from Lewis and Mere Christianity. Lewis wrote, "Of course, God knew what would happen if they used their freedom the wrong way. Apparently, he thought it worth the risk. If God thinks the state of war in the universe a price worth paying for free will, that is, for making a live world in which creatures can do real good or harm, and something of real importance can happen, instead of a toy world which only moves when he pulls the strings, then we may take it is worth paying." Lewis wanted to express that we should love God with all our hearts, and God made us and gave us free will because he wanted us to love him, not because he wanted us to command us to love him. Another quote he wrote was, "God made us, invented us as a man invents an engine. A car is made to run on petrol, and it will not run properly on anything else. Now God designed the human machine to run on himself. He himself is the fuel our spirits were designed to burn, or the food our spirits were designed to feed on. There is no other. God cannot give us a happiness and peace apart from himself because it is not there." Now, I suppose that we all know we cannot run a car in milkshake or water. No matter what sizes or quantities we put in the tank of the car, it simply would not work. It would get stuck in the sand or the snow, mud or stone, or possibly blow up. We need a car to run on gasoline, or that is petrol, and we need ourselves to run on God himself. So his final breath and death. In June 1961, he started to suffer from nephritis. He suffered a heart attack later in July and was put into a coma. He resigned from his work at Cambridge in August 1962. He was soon diagnosed with the end-of-stage kidney failure in November 1963. He died on November 22nd, exactly 1 week before his birthday. He was buried in the churchyard of the Holy Trinity Church. His death, though, strangely occurred on the same day of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, approximately 55 minutes before, and the death of Adolf Huxley, writer of Brave New World. This was the inspiration for Peter Kreeft's book, Between Heaven and Hell, a dialogue somewhere beyond the death was John F. Kennedy, C.S. Lewis, and Adolf Huxley. His stepson, David, later turned to his mother's ancestral faith, Orthodox Jewish, and his younger stepson, Douglas, became Christian like Lewis. So thank you for watching my slideshow. These are my bibliography and sources.
Wow, it just blew my eyes. That's only 10 years old. I thought I got an adjunct professor here.
No, thank you.
Wow, that gives Grace I don't know how many thumbs. Oh my, thank you so much. It's amazing. I think next time I can just have you be to teach. I can retire. Wow.
I don't think so.
Thank you though, but it's amazing.
Thank you very much, Pastor Lenny.
You put so much great works. How do you know? Where did you find out that C.S. Lewis, the Chuck Coulson, the red.
Oh yeah, this is all thanks to my mom. My mom is reading the Chinese version of Mere Christianity,
Yeah.
and in the foreword it said something about Charles Coulson, and we searched it up, and there was a Charles Coulson bibliography about this.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I learned about it from Chuck Colson's book. I thought you read some of that. Whoa.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's really just I have no word to describe. Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Lenny.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And actually, you point out a lot of some great thing some top question we're going to talk about it. Today has a lot of information because sin and sufferings. We see how far we can go. All right. If too much, I may stop. Just talk about sin and suffering next time. We'll see. Okay. I know you, many of you kind of want to get into the suffering. All right. We see. All right. Here we go. Go. We have. Thank you. Still, we have so many of you still continue. All right. I'm really very honored and so hope you'll join the breakout room and put this in the front of their screen name if you can do it now. And if you're willing to be a leader, please put the start, okay, extras on at the beginning. So our co-host, our host can put you as a uh, breakout room leader, okay? Yeah. Casey, make you a good leader. Come on. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, make you a good leader. All right.
So what shall I do?
Put a star. Put a star before KC. Okay.
Put a star before Casey.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So then they'll know you're the leader. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to be this in the big man room with you. Just joking. You can be better used in the small group. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. So I know it's anyone still first time join. That's the what we roughly the time. Okay. So with version. Oh, that's not what I want to. That's okay. All right, we're here now. No. Oh, I didn't change this. Okay, we are here. 28. Okay. If you want to get the certificate, okay, please get ready, prepare. We are getting to the end. All right. So at least 8 sections live, and then later other thing you can watch. And I always have mercy. Some people say, "Oh, I can only attend 7 or 6." Okay, do a good appealing to me. Okay, if you can write a very good report and then appeal to me, you may still have a chance. Okay, all right. So read the book, and we have simple final. Okay, I haven't make it up yet. All right, and just a 1-page report. Right. We're gonna change Chinese, English, but anyway, this is a certificate look like. All right. Okay, let's dig into that. 4 questions, right? Creation, fall, redemption, and restoration. We're gonna end it at 4 here. So next week we will talk about how we can redeem. All right. Sin cannot be overcome by human device of the kind of the government will, but only by suffering and by grace. Let's look into that. See how this play out. All right. What does the face of evil look like? What does face of evil look like? Can someone, you want to open the mic, you can answer? Can you tell this is evil? Well, what does it look like? Oh, person, that's something on your mark that evil. Can you tell easily? Maybe they can unmute themselves, right?
Darkness.
Sorry?
Darkness.
Darkness. Okay, very good. Yeah, usually associated evil is darkness. Do you know who are they? Maybe you're too young to know them.
Columbine.
Oh yeah, so the parents knows. Just that's first. I think that's the first school shooting in American history, right? 1999. They killed 10. How about this? Adam Lanza. He killed. This is a Sandy Hook. He killed 20 children. So what does the face of evil look like? Just look like the kids next door. Look like us. Have you wondering why the same human being, some could be so like so terrible things, right? And some be like angel, or the same person, right? You look at the baby. Wow, every baby look like the angel, but when babies make trouble, it's drove parent crazy, right? So, all right, let's have some guessing, okay? The top 4 reasons of the school shooting. What caused this ordinary kids? Why they would do that? Anyone want to guess?
Loneliness.
Okay, loneliness. Yeah, usually they are the loner. Yes. What else?
Hatred.
They hate people. Okay. What else?
Getting bullied.
What? Sorry.
Getting bullied.
Oh yeah, getting bullied. Yeah, actually.
Cycles. Brain problems.
Okay.
You pity yourself, so you make others feel bad as well.
Okay.
Go for your pain.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, let's stop here. All right. So yeah, thank you for that. Those questions, those answers. Yeah, bully. All right. So they want to take revenge. They don't value life. Most of them, they end their own life, right? They been victim of physical abuse at home. That's kind of research on that, but something we always neglect. Didn't see that, and I always look into that. And whenever this happen, I always try to look behind what's this person's family life, and actually, you can find most of them. They're all linked to their family life. So, for example, this Adam Lenz, they said his early elementary school life, his parents still alive, they together in family, and but 2002 they separate. And I found the research that originally he had a very good grade, and then after they separate, the parents separate, his grade dropped, and then 2010 he stopped receiving his father's email, means that his father started communicating with him, and that made him desperate. Right. So even the society recognized those things are evil. Thankfully, all right, people still recognize those things are evil. So what is evil means? Earlier point to the family is because that's normally we don't want to look into that side. And actually, if you look into the evil, can always trace family is a problem for those kids. And that's why I always want to focus on the family, because that's how God designed. The kids should be nurtured in the mother and the father. And if we neglect that, the society going to pay the big price. So what are the reasons for evil? We neglect that, so we don't see that. So that's the normally when you look at the news, they say poverty, race. But the thing is, you see those school shooters, those shooters that mostly they in the good school district that they are not poor. Race or they are most of the white, right, or Asians, and that function childhood, yeah, kind of, but they're just on the books. But something we always didn't say that. So in our society, we talk about it. Sin is a forgotten word, right? You never heard about this. When the people commit a crime or do any problem, they say, "Oh, you sin." No, right? When you fail, if you let's say if you cheat, you lie, would the teacher say, "Hey, you sin"? No, right? We won't say that, right? But it is sin that unleash the capacity for raw evil. It is sin that blind us to anything beyond our own selfish desires. When a society we neglect sin, we try to eliminate sin, actually we couldn't see the real problem. Or maybe we just put sin in the closet. Oh, they only belong to church. All right. So I like Charles Coulson. He said, sin is choosing what we know is wrong. I think everybody, when they do things, right? Probably us too, when you want to do something wrong, you know that's wrong. right? But he just couldn't help it. I just need to take a look at other people's. I need to, even you don't say cheat. No, I just want to take a look at what people's answer is, right? Otherwise, I'm gonna face a big consequence. So you see, we have a choice, and when we sin, we choose to do evil. Sounds simple, but we started finding a lot of excuse for people making the wrong choice because we live in a sinless society. This is a real issue of the problem. Especially, we're going to start it from just some example. I cannot point out everything. All right, if you read Chuck Coulson's book, I think you should get this point that it really opened my eye to see how we solve the problem of this society. Everybody sees the society as some problem. Okay, even the newspaper said the evil visit this community. Okay, good, you see the evil, but then what caused that? How do you solve it? That's really the big difference from Christian worldview and the secular worldview. Starting from parenting education. All right, but you look at this. Do you know what's this? This is a textbook from before 78, 90. That's the textbook for 200 years. For elementary school in America, when they learn alphabet, in Adam's 4, we sin all. Isn't that amazing? The very first thing, very first word the kids go to school, they learn is sin. And now we cannot see anything. Now you know the consequence. All right? So the lie to bend, the book to attend is the wow. What a different world now, right? Even now we cannot use red pen. Is that true in your setting? I know I read it from Chuck Coulson's book. Is that true? Anybody have this experience? The teacher don't use red pen now?
Mom usually uses pink or red for marking my papers.
Okay. All right. But at least that's the theory teaching that said don't use the red pen are making students feel blue according to the study. All right. So they recommend teacher refrain using the color when marking. All right. So show the use of the red pen in marking has a negative impact on student relationship with their teacher. Guilt is something hazardous to mental well-being and artificial constraint from which we need to be liberated. As a result, today's young generation does not even understand the vocabulary of moral responsibility. So we see we cannot say that's no good. They cannot say, hey, don't do that. Because they're gonna let people feel hurt. And how they start? Why they started? Again, ideas have what? Who can answer? Very good. Idea have consequence, and always someone going to start a new idea, and especially for parenting. Dr. Spark is the one. He's revolutionized the parenting idea. You know, very simple, common sense, right? Before, when you want to train a kid, you gotta say, make sure don't do this, do the right thing. You need to correct them. But he started saying, no, you need to let them do it themselves what they like. And we need to accommodate their feeling and not stop them. They put child as a center. And the trouble is that his book, I put it in Chinese one. They translated many language and is top sell next to Bible. Now you see. So from his idea to change all one generation parenting idea. So when the school age child steals something, Spark suggests the parent consider whether their child might need more approval at home and even a raise in his allowance. Wow, think about that. I think we often probably parent we got into this idea now. Now, why if your children make some wrong decision and say, oh yeah, you got to think there may be something that we need to, we need to do something wrong to them. And so you start to make it instead just say, hey, don't do that, right? And now we see the result. You see that idea have the consequence. Just look at this. Pampered child syndrome, 2001. You see, I like even that's from C.S. Lewis, but I like the thanks for Grace user. The car can only run fuel; it cannot run ice cream. Maybe some will like that. Okay, so when you use a different fuel, you're gonna have a problem, and that's how we see the problem. These kids everywhere, like out of control, and even with both sides parents, with grandparents, and couldn't deal with one child. And I love these topics. Even in my seminary, I wrote a report on this adolescent rebellion. You heard, right? When you get to the teenager will what? Rebel, right? Is that you heard about this, right? Maybe some of you can wait. When I get to, I don't know, you think what age consider teenagers? 12 years old? Oh, I'm in teenagers now. I can rebel. I can do whatever I want. Oh, don't bother me. Who says so? Everything you got to remember. I said when you have this idea, you can say who said that? According to what theory, and what does Bible say? Okay, all right. So we'll just wait until your children become adolescent. Actually, you see, according to Dr. Park, children already go wild. You don't need to wait until teenagers. Okay, so it's from this guy Stanley Hall. He is the first president of the American Psychological Association. And that's why when you look at psychology, especially many of you want to study psychology, be careful. You need to know. I'm not sure psychology is always wrong, but you can see what depends on whose theory is. All right. Is it according to the Bible or according to the human theory? And human theory, what usually is from evolution. There's no other alternative, right? And exactly that's what he did. He wrote this book called Adolescent, 1904. Before that, there's no such term to use. And in his book, he described storm and stress. And let's look at this. To Hall, the turmoil of the teen years was the inevitable consequence of recapitulation. In reliving our evolutionary past, said Hall, he must inevitably pass through a stage of great chaos, some ancient period of storm and stress, when all moorings were broken and higher level attained. You see that? Wow, I just feel that when people don't want to believe in God, they try everything, everywhere, to try to view things from evolution. And isn't it ironic? We Christian, we only view Bible from in the church, we want the salvation, and other things we don't view it. But secular people, they view evolution from every angle, from everything. They can apply evolution. All right, even from child development. And so that's why he developed this theory from evolution. So now you all know, I'm teenagers now, I'm from barbarian, and then I become a civilized. So this is storm and stress. I'm not saying that we all have a problem. Human beings all have a problem. Actually, adult rebel, children rebel. Doesn't need to wait until teenage. Everybody rebel. That's a sin, right? But the thing is, we legalize the problem, and that's why no problem. Okay, everything you see in our society, whenever it is a problem, no, we legalize, then there's no problem, right? All right, if one day we're gonna say you steal, no, you can steal, that's okay, and that's what California did, right? So we're gonna live in the sinless society. Eventually, gonna crime this society because everything allowed to do, and there's no sin, no crime. And so the consequence is, I just look at this book title, The Death of Grown Up, The Rise of Teenage Age. Turning 13 instead of bringing children closer to an adult world, now launch them into a teen universe. All right. And before it's 12, like 20, or now it's 34. I can keep on growing. That's like forever young, all right? What does Bible say? Oh, I don't want this. Children, obey your parents. You must manage your own household well, all things keeping your children submissive. and especially that's at the end time. People will lovers of self and disobedient. We talked about last week, right? So you see, I don't know how do you reconcile the Bible with that. Tell me, okay? You will, Bible is too strict. Oh, so we need to build this biblical worldview to see everything. What does Bible said? Free, useful passion and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Have nothing to do. Foolish, ignorant, controversy. You know that. Bread quarrels. You know, I grew up in the church, and actually, we did a lot of foolish things in the youth group, and we feel we're not that bad. We feel just in the middle, okay, and we are proud of it, you know. Until one day, my wife said, "How can you say that type of joke?" I got so offended. I said, "We always do this in the church. What's wrong with it?" And actually, we know that we didn't go that extreme, but then Holy Spirit just teach me. Just wow, I already out of the boundary. I didn't know because it's surrounding this way. It's all like this. So that's the problem, all right? So we need to have a pure heart with, and look at the Jewish culture. I really like the Jewish culture. That's it. But I don't know what the present, but at least in the Bible, that's it. Right? When you are how old? What's the age for this boy to have a bar mitzvah?
13.
13.
Boy. Who? How old?
13.
13. Yes.
100.
How about girl?
Also 13, I think.
12.
12. Girls 12. Hey, they know the girl, but
Oh yeah, boys get
they know
longer.
girl mature earlier. Okay. All right. So you see, that's called the son or daughter's commitment. What does that mean? Means from 12 or from 13, they are like adult. They need to be responsible. They can read the Torah themselves. Isn't it? You see, Jesus, when he was 12, right? He was in the temple, asking all these questions. He doesn't in the temple and says, "I'm 12 years old now. I can fool around, run into a crazy thing." No, he became a full to adult. So when I was in Israel, that's fascinating. I wish we were going to develop a way of Christian bar mitzvah. Okay, so that's this is a girl bar mitzvah that going to the quiet wall to pray for her birthday. Right. Not going to the wild party to get crazy. I know even the Jewish culture now that become a big party, right? So I really hope that our birthday is not a day to glorify us, it's a day to worship, to dedicate ourselves to God, that we have more responsibility and to more mature, right? So that's when they take things away, how to fix? You still know that's a problem, right? Crying baby, all this how therapy instead of stern language morality. Okay. So a utopia framework has taken away the concept tool that we need to grapple effectively with genuine evil. And when we cannot name or identify evil, we lost the capacity to deal with it. And ultimately, we compound its deadly effects. When I look at this, it's really so true. Wow, I just really appreciate Chuck Coulson. There's such a way to describe things, right? Last we talk about the utopia. We can create the ideal world, but we don't want to have sin, right? So how? Then we make sins. Actually, we open the cage, and they effects even greater. Look at this. I don't. This is jail. This is a jail. All right. So this are the therapies, and that's the modern concept, right?
Wait, jail, you get a bed? Like that comfy, and you get a desk, and you get a chair, and you
Oh
get
yeah,
a
this is like a resort, and then they do all this recreation center. This in Europe, okay, and and then especially they have a female officer to deal with this. All right, and unfortunately,
Wait, if you go to jail, you get a free room.
oh, that's the idea of the therapy. Okay.
More like a hotel than living
Well,
in
this is
jail.
not good because people will be encouraged to just commit a crime just to get a
Okay, stop that.
Just get
Okay, okay. All right, no talking now. Okay, but that's the idea of the. Okay, I'm not saying that we need to torture the criminals. We're not actually Chuck Coulson. Why he saw the film in the first lesson, right? He go in to help this, but my point is that when we have a wrong idea, we try to do good. Actually, it's not doing the right way. All right. So that's what people are basically good. So anyone who would do something so terrible must be mentally ill, and the solution is therapy. Okay. So that's why everything. And if you even they have a problem, go to see psychiatrist. Why? Nobody gonna come to see pastor now. I'm fighting my own job. Okay. All right. They if before people used to know that's the sin issue. So they need to be right with God. They need to find the way from Bible. But now, no, it's not sin. It's mental issue. Mental issues are find psychologists. All right. So when we embrace all right, it's me. We will not find true remedy. In the end, it will destroy us. Right? I say again and again. That's just if we don't know we wrong diagnostics, that you're going to find a wrong doctor and going to use the wrong treatment, and guess what? Wrong result. So let's come back to the Bible. What is sin? What is sin? Since any failure to conform to the moral law of God in acts, attitude, or nature. This I got it from Wayne Grudem, his systematic theology. Okay, so let's look into this. All right. Fail to conform the moral law of God, not human law. All right. So what's moral law? Acts. There's your acts, right? 10 commandments, right? Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Before somebody, that's the action. All right. So we say this is a crime, right? You do something wrong. Then I think that's easiest to understand, right? You do those things. Thankfully, you still need to go to jail or do something, pay the penalty for that. But Bible also talk about attitude, right? Attitude in your heart, you didn't do it, but God still consider that sin. Anger, covet, lust. Yes, lust. The other day, someone forward is they said oh, one of the users said the lust is okay as long as you control it. But I don't see any the Bible says the lust is good, all right? Because the definition of lust, you want to do something. And I think that's a problem in our yesterday. The other day we have this discussion in the Bible study that said, oh, we didn't actually do it. All right. But that's why God standard go beyond, all right, even our thinking, right? You covet and you angry and you have a lust to see the woman, and that's Bible said it's a sin. Why? Nature. We are born with this nature. By nature, children of wrath, like the rest of the mankind. So we need to understand our condition is. All right. We talked about last week already, so I'm not getting into that. But mostly, I want to say is sin is against God. We don't say you sin. Sin always say against someone. You won't say it's sin against your parents. When this word sin is like you against God. Sin is the rejection of God's authority, a denial of God's goodness and truth. No wonder when you take God out from a society, sin cannot exist. Sin got to be out too, because no one is against with, right? So that's what this the world we're living. Remember last week we talked about the second fall, right? The first fall, God kicked us out. Second fall, we return the favor. Now we kick God out. So some, you see, you look at the Bible verse that against you only have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight. That's when David, he committed adultery, and he realized it's not, he's really ultimately sin is against God. For all have sinned and all fall short of the glory of God. So Bible is really also the medical book that see our condition is. Really, you need to go to diagnostics with one. And you know what? That's how I became a Christian. I grew up in the Christian home, but I was wondering that's why the world has so many problems. And you don't need to see outside. You just see inside. Why this? It's just within the family always a problem. And because my dad grew up in a very complicated family. Okay, I won't have time on this today. So whenever my grandma came to visit our home, the whole story repeat again. And I just wondering why. And then I went to church. I read the Bible. Said, oh, that's because of sin. Now, then I know the reason. All right. So, all right. I think I'll skip this until we have questions. All right. The consequence. We quickly go. The consequence of sin disrupt our relationship with God. Remember that I quoted from the Bible here, right? So, when Adam and Eve took the fruit and then they hid themselves, and God need to say, where are you? All right. So that's the first disruption of relationship with God. It's the concept of sin. And then emulate from each other. Adam started complaining to woman started complaining to man, and so all this problem. Right. So first with God, second between human beings, but more than that is also affect all natures. You see that? Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten the fruit, I command you, you should not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. So we need to realize the consequence of sin is huge. Then come with death, sickness, suffering will become part of the human experience. So this is a biblical answer for the society. All right. And you may say, I don't want to take this. Okay, but that's the answer here. And you can apply this, see how they work, or you want to use utopia view and see that will apply. That's, again, you have the choice. But it's what Bible said. The whole earth universe grown, right? Yes, God originally created a beautiful world, but because of sins, that penetrates in everywhere. Our relation with God, our relation between our sibling, our parents, or friends, and the environment. How many of you have a good relationship with a sibling? I hope you do, right? That's too often I say, oh, my sister annoying me, my brother. Is why? Now you know why. And the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to corruption, attain the freedom of the glory of God and children. And that's why salvation comes in to free us from the bondage of sin. So you see, the secular view is totally opposite. They say we are born free, but because all this environment surrounding us, and then we need to be taken free of it. Actually, we're born with this bondage, and only God can set us free. It's not merely a personal belief, it's a truth about all reality. Christians must learn how to break out the box to penetrate environment hostile to our faith, make people see the dilemma they themselves face, and then show them why the Christian worldview is the only rational answer. Okay, I really hope this worldview is really, first we strengthen our faith to see the words, but then also next step we can show to the world, hey, I have an answer for you to describe what happened in the world, and it's much more reality. So it's a way of apologetics, right? And go beyond that because we live according to God's design, and we can show them, hey, this way of living is happier, healthier. Come follow us, okay? Come follow Jesus. So, isn't it exciting? When minorities reduce to personal preference and when no one can be held morally accountable, society quickly fall into disorder. See that? Our society is, because nobody can take the want to take responsibilities, right? When social anarchy become widespread in any nation, its citizens become prime candidate for a totalitarian style leader to step in and offer to fix everything. So we need to let people know this type of idea is not just like for Christian. This is, if we don't follow what God's way, everybody going to suffer, and our country is in this, leading to this condition. So a utopian view leads to tyranny. A biblical view leads to an orderly and morally responsible society. Then which one you can choose, right? And I hope, we pray that we can present more this to our friends, to our society, that this way is better a way of living. Moral law are not moral standards are life-giving, life-enhanced, and life-enriching truth. As we read in the Old Testament, right? Well, isn't this? Well, actually, this morning we just talked about it: life and death, blessing and curse. All right. First, I think we as a Christian, we need to see God's law, God's way of living for us is a blessing, not a bondage, not a. All right. Just remember what I said earlier. I was used to kind of do some funny, the crazy joke. I feel like, that can get people's approval, or you're so popular. But we don't realize that actually God has better. God has better for us. A realistic grasp of human depravity drive us to God. Okay. Are we doing okay? Can you continue? Want to finish the suffering? All right, I think better. Let's continue, okay? All right.
Okay.
All right. So we can finish this and we have this discussion. So many of you, you're going to ask, then how the suffering come into this, all right? So the suffering makes sense. How can a God be good yet allow terrible things happen to people? A good God did not abolish suffering, was a God who abolished sin precisely by suffering in a scandal to the modern mind. All right, people think suffering is a way to say, hey, God's not good, or God does not exist. And this is a very popular question. How we can? All right, God's all good, all powerful. So he will not allow evil and suffering to exist in this creation. That's usually in a class you say there's a problem, evil, right? Yet evil doesn't exist, right? Good. Everybody believe that's the evil. Okay. Therefore, God is not all that good because he allowed evil. He is not that all powerful because he cannot get rid of it or he cannot prevent it. You got an idea? You got a problem? That usually that's people will try to use this to question God. All right. So that's few solutions here. Deny that God exists at all, but then nothing is evil, nothing is good. And that's what we see here. What is good and evil? If nobody say, if God doesn't exist, who decide what is good, what is evil? Who decide? Human being, but they're going to change. That's going to change. And why you say so? Why not me? If it's just all human being can say, why is you, not me? Right? Second, deny the suffering exists. Actually, a lot of religion do that, right? I think that's a Christian science or something, or even actually Buddhism also talk about that. That's you just don't think about this thing. That's then won't exist. But the problem is that we do feel it, right? When you get a cut, it feel hurts, all right? Oh yeah, Christian science, all right. Okay, third, praise God beyond good and evil, all right? So God's about that, but then who can help us, right? We still feel lonely, we still feel painful, all right? So I just quickly go through this. oh, God's power is limited. Oh yeah, don't blame on God. He is limited. Okay, so he cannot solve all this problem, right? Especially this book interesting. That said, when bad people, when bad, oh what's that? When bad people happen, nothing. Oh, bad things, not bad things. Sorry, bad things happen to good people. All right. The problem is that in the Bible said there's no good people. We all sin, right? We are such good people, all right. We should thank God that the problem won't happen to us every day, all right. So God has created evil to achieve a greater good. Wow, then this put God is not a good God now because He created evil, all right. So what does Bible answers? Evil and suffering may be evidence for God. Whoa, it's interesting. Okay, come to C.S. Lewis. And that's why we hope we have a new C.S. Lewis coming out in your generation. Like the way that in the writing, thinking, and to be apologetics for God. My argument against God was that the universe seemed too cruel and unjust. But how had I got the idea of just and unjust? Remember I say it all the time? Why you feel this unjust? Why? Where is from? And also you feel that unjust is not good. And that itself proves God exists. Because if by evolution it's just the way you survive, then what's wrong with that? All right, that's something we need to think about it. All right. So why you feel that we are crying for the like they say we're equality, everything gonna be equal. Why we even just this type of idea? Where is it from? If we just like by evolution, why we need to have this type of idea? And even the stronger going to fit, So the evolution mechanism of nature selection depend on death, destruction, and violence of the strong against the weak. These things are all perfect natural. You see that? If you really believe in evolution, then the evil is natural. It's good to evolve. And total against what we are complaining about. What are you complaining about? Why is it unjust? That's natural, and that's good. Only you believe there's a God, and you know that's not good. All right, maybe you're gonna have some argument with me. All right, okay. God is good and create a perfect world, but one of the things that makes human being intelligent being is freedom. Okay, I think the Grace talk about that, right? God didn't create us as a machine. Just programming. I could hit the button, hit the key, ding, I love you. Hit the button, I love you. You see, God didn't create us that way. He creates a freedom, and so the freedom can love. So evil is created by sin, not by God. I will just quickly three things. Okay, suffering remind us of our true situation and bring us home. All right, when you feel pain, you need to go. Hey, that's not good. I can do that, right? If you get burned and always feel good, and you die, right? So Chuck Coulson himself is a story, right? He was top there, but when he fall into the problem, he know that we're sin, and he can go home to God, right? I love this quote also from C.S. Lewis. Okay, if you could memorize this, who can read this? Grace, can you read this again? You're serious, all right?
Okay. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks to us in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse the deaf world.
Isn't it truth? You see, if Chuck Coulson not into that problem, he won't get to know God. So whenever the suffering happens, actually, God said, "Come home. I know you have problem, but come home." God overcomes suffering with suffering, and that's what Jesus coming. Jesus suffering, so can solve our suffering. He can say, "Oh, why need to do this way?" He asked God. God decided to use that way. All right. Last, God gives us hope and strength, and that's really the beauty of the Christianity. God didn't promise that you believe in Jesus and get no suffering. But God said, I'm going to give you sufficient enough grace. And I'm going to open the way, this way out for you. So if you any problem in you, especially I know many teenagers, very, very young people, if you're depressed, you feel that you're going to do some crazy things, not just teenagers, adult. I was there before, but because this verse, many Bible verse, will help me out of the situation. All right. And that is the power of our belief. Even in the suffering, we can have hope and strength. Though Christianity does not provide a reason for each experience of pain, it provides deep resource of actually facing suffering with hope and courage, rather than bitterness and despair. And I think you can read many books, or probably many of you have testimony to share on this, right? And I'll end this with my own story. Some of you may know already, my two eyes had 6 surgery of retina detachment. 6, right? Not 1 or 2, 6. My right eye actually barely can see. And so that's 2016, I have a 4 surgeries on my right eye, and terrible experience. Ends up with a bad eye, okay? So I only have a good left eye to use it.
Does your right eye hurt?
The problem, you see, the eye problem is that it won't hurt. If you can hurt, you know right away there's a problem. Actually, the detached for quite a while, I didn't know because it won't hurt. And only one day I said, I'm going to watch NBA game in the basement. And I said, let me cover one eye. Oh, the totally like the TV screen half went blank. Okay, then you know there's a problem. So sometimes, you see, you appreciate the pain. When you have a pain, you know there's a problem, okay? But in 2019, my left eye also detached. And that's the problem. Because
Detached?
I always depend on one eye, and then the good eye also detached. And the doctor said that's very bad detachment.
So you were blind?
I could be blind.
Almost fell out.
Okay, all right. Don't open it. Times. Okay, you can ask me later. Okay, almost blind. I was in the brink of saying, oh, is we possible? Because doctor said this eye is detached very bad and may not recover. And if this is the case, I already have one bad eye already, and now you have 2 bad eye. What are you gonna do, right? So, then I started to feel worried. And about 10 weeks, I locked down 10 weeks. So this is God already prepared me during for this pandemic. that's 2019. Okay, 2019, I locked down at home for 10 weeks. I didn't go out at all except go to see doctor. And you won't know the result right away. And really, that through the experience, I really experienced the love of God and the love of brother and sister, and especially my family, my wife. And you see, that's through the suffering you experience something normally you could not experience. You can say, I can complain to God, say, why you let me suffer this? But God didn't give us reason. But God just give us reason, said, hey, trust me. My grace is sufficient enough for you. And actually, because my eye regained, okay, this miracle, even the doctor after that doctor said, your eye can recover. That's a miracle. He said that. And 95% recovered. So I can still see you, okay, with my one eye. And that's why God compelled me. I need to do something. I need to teach. I need to do this, what God put me in my heart for a long time. So maybe the suffering could have a good purpose. All right. So this is the 2 questions, or you want to do anything on through this class? How has the idea of the people being sinless affected society? How can we show the world that the real problem of society is sin? Or you can add how the suffering, why make sense of suffering. Okay, so are we ready to do the breakout room?
Today we're going to join